He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
I just need you to know that I see you and I'm proud of you.
Well, we live with Bob Arum. I appreciate you swallowing your lunch for me, man. How's your summer holding up?
Good, great.
Good. Great.
We're getting, set for the month of August. We got 4 shows in August.
4?
And, so, we're clearing the decks.
Now, your first show in August is the 13th, correct?
No, it's this Saturday from England, from Belfast, where Mick Conlon is going to be fighting.
Oh, yeah. And are you?
ESPN Plus is going to show it.
Yeah.
And it'll be on, late afternoon.
Okay, and then you got Teofimo Lopez on the 13th.
Teofimo Lopez, he'll be coming. He's training in New Jersey, and he'll be coming to Las Vegas on the weekend and getting ready for his comeback fight.
How is he doing? How's his mental health, and how's the relationship between him and his dad and Top Rank?
Well, the relationship between Teofimo, his father, and Top Rank couldn't be better. As far as how he's doing mentally, I had Derek Carmen spent a couple of weeks there, and all the reports were good. I spoke to David McWhorter, the manager, a little while ago, and he's very upbeat about what he's looking at. So, I'm optimistic.
Right. You mentioned Derek. How are we going to get Derek into the Hall of Fame, man? As long as I've known him, I've known you.
Why should Derek be in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know what title he has, but he's great at what he does. He's always
great at what he does. Yeah, but again, he has a while to go before he should be considered for the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Now let's start from the top. Arthur Beterbiev, man. Very impressed with Arthur Beterbiev. But before we jump into him in the ring, are you working with Al with Arthur Beterbiev? Because I remember he was signed to PBC.
Never signed to PBC.
Oh, he was just on their cards.
He was never on their card that I remember.
I thought he was.
No, he was fighting for Yvonne Michelle. And then we came in and took it over. He's been fighting for us for a few years ever since.
Okay. And is the Yard fight next, man?
Yes.
Are you arranging funeral arrangements, or what's the plan with that?
Well, the fight will be in at the O2 at the end of October in London.
And the reason why I asked about funeral arrangement, because Anthony Yard is going to get obliterated by that man, and that leads me to ask: are there any negotiations with Bivol's team and the Zone?
No, Bivol has an obligation to fight an ex-fighter of ours who Golden Boy promotes, Gilberto Zerto Ramirez. So, Bivol is not a cinch to win that fight.
And are you interested in making that fight next?
Which fight?
No,
we're interested. Beterbiev owns 3 titles. He gets by Yard, and we have a result from Bivol Ramirez. Absolutely, we want to give Arthur Beterbiev the opportunity to win all 4 titles.
Right. Now that'd be big for boxing. These unification bouts are coming up exceptionally fast. One that just a title fight that just came up is Cepeda and Regis Prograis. Are you going to put in a purse bid for that, or does it go straight to ESPN?
What do you mean straight to ESPN?
Because Cepeda and Regis Prograis was mandated by the WBC for the 140-pound belt.
Yeah, I saw that. Whether we put a bid in or not, you know, we have to see it. You know, we don't have either fighters under promotional contract. Cepeda is under contract to Zanfer, a Mexican company, and Progress is not under contract to it. So we got to, you know, we'll determine down the road whether we're interested in putting a bid in. It's a good fight, but again, you can't do every fight, you know. Right. Even though we have so many dates, we got to look to find places for the fighters that we're contractually obligated to.
Would the good business move would be not to bid on it in the first purse bid to lower the requirements? Because it seems like PBC don't like PBC is going to bid on it. Probellum is out of the mix, so it's only basic you and Eddie, your best friend. Well,
you know, again, we're not going to just bid to boost Eddie up. And spend money that he doesn't have to spend.
Right.
You know, if he wants to do the fight, let him during this period meet with both guys and make him an offer and put the fight on.
Right. I totally makes sense, and that would be the correct business move. And speaking of next move, you mentioned Shakur Stevenson versus Lomachenko next. So I mean after next. Where does Devin Haney fit in that triangle?
Well, Devin Haney has an obligation to fight Kambosos again, and then we have let Devin Haney know that if Lomachenko can get out of Ukraine, he would take a fight. A tune-up fight, and if Haney beats Kambosos, then Haney would get the Lomachenko fight.
So what would be next for Shakur after assuming he beats the Olympian in September? In your eyes,
you know, I'm not sure, but you know, maybe Navarrete. I mean, there are plenty of guys that we can get for Shakur that would give Shakur a good fight. But the truth is that we don't see anybody at 130 or below that can beat Shakur.
It definitely appears that way. What ceiling? How high of a ceiling do you have for, let's say both Devin and Shakur?
Really, you know, it's up to them. We're not. I think everybody realizes that both guys are terrific fighters. Now they have to take advantage of the megaphone that we have with ESPN, which has all these channels and so forth, to continue popularizing themselves with the biggest possible audience.
Right.
So when we have to put them on pay-per-view in order to meet the purse demands that they will have down the road, that they can justify it and bring in good pay-per-view numbers.
Right. And it looked like Devin Haney took great advantage of that before the fight and after the fight. I saw him do that New York tour. I thought that was pretty dope.
You know, he did a very good job. I was very pleased with Devin and Bill, his father, and how they worked with us on the Kambosos fight in April. I thought they took a tremendous advantage of the opportunity that they had.
Right. And moving forward with the Kambosos fight, does it look like October 15th is the date, or is it still in limbo? You waiting on the government?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is October? Yeah, it would be October 15th here in the United States, which means that the fight would be held October 16th, which is a Sunday, in Australia.
What changed? Why America?
No, I didn't say America.
Oh, I stand correct. It's going to be in Australia, but the date will be October 15th. Yes?
No, it'd be October 15th in the United States.
Gotcha.
Which would be October 16th.
Gotcha.
In Australia.
Gotcha. And that's pretty much set in stone, or are you waiting for?
Pretty much set in stone, and working through the details with the Victoria government, where Melbourne is. But they were extraordinarily pleased with the results, tourism, and so forth.
Good.
From the last fight.
Good. Now, is Top Rank paying the sanctioning fees for that fight, or does the fighter pay the sanctioning fees? Because there was some discussion about that.
Well, usually the fighter pays the sanction fee, unless the contracts provide otherwise. I don't know what this contract here provides, but if it says Top Rank should pay the fighter's sanction fee, we'll do it. Okay. If it's silent, then the fighters will pay.
How often does that happen? If you can give a percentage,
it's normal. It's normal.
It's normal for the promotional company to pay.
That's not normal, but it is normal from time to time for the fighter to, as part of negotiating his purse, to provide that the promoter pay the sanction fee.
Got that. So the Haneys got a good deal out of it.
Yeah, but they, earned it.
They earned it. Absolutely.
They acted well. People liked them because they were real gentlemen, real sportsmen.
Yes.
So again, if a fighter does what he's supposed to do and produces in and out the ring, then he deserves to get paid.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because Devin Haney does an exceptional job outside of the ring. And I don't know if I should say it now, but I think Shakur Stevenson dabbles with it a little too much. He wants to be cool and he wants to be a fighter. I think because there was a video that went viral, and he has difficulty committing to the sport of boxing. Whereas Devin Haney is like, I'm in the gym. I'm going to stay 15 pounds, 20 pounds close to my weight so I can make weight.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think Shakur isn't been as articulate with the press as Haney been. Okay. But I think, with his, manager,
right.
Prince talks to him, and Tony Leonard, who's the co-promoter, they are constantly talking to Shakur.
Good.
And Shakur is beginning to see the light. It's not the easiest thing to become very talkative with the press when your personality is the whole thing's inside of you. You see what I mean?
I get it. I 100% get it. And I think that I root for Shakur, and that's why when someone sent me a video, I don't want to elaborate on what I saw, but it kind of threw me in a loop, because Shakur looks like my son a little bit, and I always and I inherently root for the kid, and I just want him to be well. So hopefully he hears this video and he holds himself accountable to that.
Yeah, well, there's good people with him, which helps.
Good.
Not a bunch of thugs.
Right.
They're really, really smart people.
Right.
And So I think it's just a case of maturation.
Right.
Right.
Right. What's your take on the Jake Paul melee this week?
Well, the question is really, is Jake Paul a real professional fighter? He's a good personality, and he creates a lot of interest. But now, if you match him with an experienced fighter, it's going to be very, very hard for him to win.
Right.
He's really. I mean, he has a great following. I don't want to demean it. He's very promotion oriented, but can he really fight at the elite level?
Right.
I really don't think so.
Why do you think Showtime elected to cancel the card as opposed to finding an alternate?
Well, they didn't have much time to find an alternate. And the problem is, if you find an alternate and it's a real fighter, you wouldn't want to bet the house on Jake Paul.
Got that. How do you think that fight would have played out? Hasim Rahman versus Jake Paul.
I got so confused with the weights and everything.
Right.
But if it was done at a normal weight, well, even there shouldn't have been weight because it's heavyweight, so it's the weight isn't restricted. But it was like at 215 pounds, which Rahman could easily do. Then it's a no contest. He knocks out Jake Paul.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Right. Did you guys take a stab at Tank Davis while he had a level of free agency? Did you guys reach out to him?
Well, no, because again, Floyd kept insisting that he wasn't a free agent, that he was contractually obligated to Floyd's company, and there was no reason to pick a fight there. I took Floyd at his word. So we never, ever reached out to Tank Davis because that would be interfering with another entity's contract.
Right. Now, your expertise, do you think Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia happens, or is it just Floyd and Oscar being Floyd and Oscar?
I can't say what two other promoters are going to do or not do.
Right.
I have absolutely no idea. Should the fight be made? Absolutely, because I think it's a very attractive fight. Will it be made? I don't know. Again, I'm only can be accountable for what I do as a promoter, not what anybody else does.
Right. And speaking of promoter, what's the status of you and Terrence Crawford's lawsuit, or Top Rank and Terrence Crawford's lawsuit?
Well, it's still technical. We asked that it be removed to a federal court, and the federal judge said no, it has to be in the state court. So they have to refile the case in state court, and this was 6 weeks ago, and they haven't. So I don't know whether the case is going forward or is not going forward. I right now, as far as I'm concerned, there's no case. I mean, no case from the. I'm not giving you an opinion on the merits of the case. I'm just saying there is no case because nothing's been filed.
Right. And Top Rank was unwilling to settle anything outside of court. You guys wanted to go the legal route.
Well, they hit us with the lawsuit before they asked us to sit down and see if we could settle. My feeling is that this lawsuit was really dreamed up by Kinahan and his people, because Crawford indeed had sent us an email saying that he and Kinahan were partners. This is before the Porter fight.
Oh, that's interesting. So now it's interwoven into the Daniel Kinahan issue. So
it may be, I don't know. Again, I'm just saying that the last communication of that kind that we had was from Terrence,
right,
which said that Kinahan was his partner and manager, I guess.
Wow. So does America put sanctions on Terrence Crawford in terms of?
I don't know. Again, Terrence entered into presumably this did occur before the sanctions were announced. So, I don't know what the status is, but obviously, if he continues to deal with Kinahan, I don't know if he has, he would be in violation of U.S. law.
Have you been questioned about Daniel Kinahan? Has the DOJ reached out to you?
No.
Okay. Do you know have they inquired about any of your fighters like Jamel Herring, Bomac, Terrence Crawford, etc.?
No, Bomac, no. As far as I know, they haven't.
Okay.
Mal Herring entered into a contract to do a fight promoted by Kinahan when he fought, who was it? Frampton.
Carl Frampton.
Yeah, and there were no sanctions at the time. So Jamal is really a law-abiding citizen. He clearly has done nothing wrong.
Right. So
and Terrence may have done nothing wrong because he entered into an arrangement with Kinahan before the sanctions came out.
Right. So as their manager, was Daniel Kinahan required to pay a portion of the salary, or was he was he negotiating with you directly? How did that work with Top Rank?
Well, Jamal, after the Frampton fight, left. So it was just really an arrangement for one fight. And then we continued promoting Jamal without any interference or involvement by Kinahan. And what was the question? Who else?
Yeah. No, did Daniel Kinahan pay Jamel Herring's salary, or does Top Rank pay the salary?
For what fight?
His purse, the Carl Frampton fight.
Yeah, he did.
He did. And did Daniel Kinahan pay Terrence Crawford's purse and Sean Porter's purse, or did ESPN and Top Rank pay it?
ESPN and Top Rank paid it.
Oh, okay. So he had no financial bearings on the Sean.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. That is it. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. I just know that we contracted with both fighters, both Terrence and Porter, and paid them what we contracted for.
Okay.
But there was any side deal between Terrence and Kinahan,
got that.
We wouldn't, know.
Got that. So when you write the check, do you make, if he's the manager, so people can understand, I know the answer. Does Top Rank make the payment to Terrence Crawford, or do Top Rank make the payment to Daniel Kinahan?
To Terrence Crawford, because if Kinahan is the manager, he hasn't never filed any papers with the commission in the United States setting forth that he was the manager, so therefore we'd have to pay the fighter directly.
Got that. And how did that correlate with Tyson Fury? Did Daniel Kinahan pay Tyson Fury's purse as well?
Never,
Never.
never, never. I mean, Fury was friendly, maybe with Kinahan, but Kinahan was never paid anything by Fury. And he was, again, it was a relationship that went back, I think, many years.
Okay. Yeah. So Tyson Fury's deal, is it all inclusive? Is it Queensberry, Top Rank, and Daniel Kinahan, or is it Queensberry and Top Rank?
It's Queensberry and Top Rank.
Got that.
For example,
yes,
the Dylan White fight,
right,
was the profits on that fight were divided between Frank, Queensberry, and Top Rank.
Got that. Okay. And one of my final questions on how much did Daniel Kinahan pay Jamel Herring? Do you remember?
No, but it was a good bit of money. But again, it wasn't our business,
Got that. So how does now, I don't know this. How do you release a fighter for another management to pay the salary? How does that work on your end?
Well, he wanted to do that fight. We weren't interested in that fight. Jamal was getting a big number to fight Frampton, a fight that he figured to win. So we didn't interfere.
Got that. So
I mean, you talk about fighters and who are good people. Is nobody better than Jamal Herring.
He's a good person, very much a good person.
Really good person, patriot, and everything. So anything we could do to help him, we were happy to do. And if that was stepping aside,
that's fair.
To let Kinahan promote the fight with Frampton, a fight that we weren't interested in. So why not do it?
That's admirable. So who pays Top Rank for being the lead promoter on the fight?
We weren't the lead promoter.
Oh, you just released. Oh, you just released Jamel Herring to fight Carl Frampton
for that fight.
It all makes sense now. Thank you for clearing that up. What's next for Tyson Fury? Besides,
well, I'll let you know in a few weeks when the Usyk Joshua fight takes place.
And
yeah.
And what do you think? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm hoping that Usyk wins because I've talked with his people, and I think they would be anxious to fight Tyson Fury.
Right.
And I would hope to do that fight in December, maybe, or early next year.
Got that. And what's your take on Robert Garcia working with Anthony Joshua?
Well, Robert Garcia is an excellent trainer. He trains a lot of our fighters. We have great respect for him. Whether he is able to train a big heavyweight, I just don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. A fighter's a fighter. But again, I'm not sure. But as far as being a competent trainer, he's one of the best.
And what's your prediction?
I don't think he can turn Joshua into what Joshua isn't. I just think Usyk is a much better fighter, much smarter fighter, much quicker fighter, and I can't see how Joshua can beat him. But heavyweights are heavyweights.
Right.
And so we could possibly have a different result.
Right. Yeah, I have a theory on this fight. Malik Scott is in Usyk's camp. He has Gerald Washington, and he's training some other fighters over there. Robert Garcia has Anthony Joshua. I think that and feel free to answer this question however you want it. I'm not railroading you into an answer, but I think that the cadence of an African American trainer is different from a Latino trainer. And I think that because Usyk is already an Olympic great and he has Gerald Washington and Malik Scott training over there, I think that cadence is important. And I think that because I learned this over history, like the African nations got drums, you know what I mean, and they move at a certain cadence, and it's succinct. And I think that Anthony Joshua will be off by like a split second, and that will be one of the advantages that Usyk has.
Well, I think I don't know, ethnically whether it's determined that way, but I just think Usyk is a better talent,
right?
And he's certainly quicker than Joshua,
right?
And Joshua, I like Usyk in the fight, but again, could it go the other way? Yeah, possibly.
How was Eddie getting all this money?
Not that he's money; it's Saudi Arabian money. What are you kidding? None of us have that kind of money to put up.
Right. How was he able? Are you shocked at the relationships that he's able to form in Saudi Arabia? Because
no. If Usyk wins and Saudi Arabia will come knocking at our door to make the Usyk fight, Eddie had both fighters in the sense that Usyk was obligated to do a rematch with Joshua. So he was the promoter of this fight.
Right.
But the Saudis would make a deal if they liked the event with whatever promoter presented the deal.
Right. I totally get that. Do you have a verbal agreement that you would inquire about the Usyk fight? Because I know you're close to Usyk's and Loma's team and their manager.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the money was right and we lay it on the table, I think the Usyk people would have no problem dealing with that.
Right. And let me ask you something about the purse bid. I remember you bid it, I thought, out of character. I'd never known Bob Arum to spend that much money. Now that purse bid, no matter what the purse bid is, can you settle an agreement with the fighter, i.e. Tyson Fury? Or do you have to give him the purse bid number?
Well, unless you have an arrangement going in, you have to give him the purse bid number. But if you have an arrangement going in, that if I win the fight, Bert, you'll take X and so forth. Yeah, promoters do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we went into this because we had a deal on the table from BT Sports in the UK as far as the pay-per-view, and from Ticketmaster as far as the arena. So we were pretty well covered. In other words, the U.S. piece of it was very, very small and didn't really throw off a lot of money.
Got that.
And we knew that. But we were covered with the guarantees that Frank and I had over in the UK.
Got that. So you only obligated to the percentage of the opponent. So if you bid 50 million and he's obligated just a safe round number, 10%, you're obligated to give fighter B the $5 million.
Well, no, 10%. Yeah, but
Yeah, got that.
again,
Got that.
but
got that.
but again, the WBC takes 10% from
Right.
each purse
Got that.
and puts it aside, and the winner gets that.
Got that.
So if Dylan White had defeated Tyson Fury, we wouldn't have made any money on the fight.
Got that.
Lost.
No, I 100% get that now. How did you and Eddie Hearn come to an agreement on the women's fight September 10th or 11th, which I'm actually excited for?
Yeah. Well, what has Eddie Hearn got to do with it?
Don't he have he has one of the fighters, right? He has
Baumgarten, you're right.
Yeah, he has Baumgartner. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Our people talked to Eddie. It was a tremendous purse for her, and she was more than willing to take it, and Eddie wasn't going to make a fuss.
Got that. What's your take on Eddie Hearn? He has two big fights coming up. He has Canelo and he has Anthony Joshua. How do you think he'll fare?
Well, the Anthony Joshua fight, he's going to fare extraordinarily well because he's not putting up the money, and he has in other words, whatever happens, he doesn't make a nickel more or a nickel less.
Gotcha.
His profit is already assured, and it's not going to change. You see what I mean?
I understand. Mm-hmm.
So that's a great position to be in.
Mm-hmm.
As when the other with Canelo and Golovkin, I don't know what the arrangement is. I just know that the ticket prices are way too high at the gate, in my opinion. But it is what it is. And I wish him and Canelo luck.
Right.
Because I consider myself a very good friend of Canelo Alvarez, and I hope it all works out for him.
Right. Is the Canelo plan bankrupting boxing?
Is there what?
Do you think the Canelo plan, because he's getting these absorbent $40-50 million paydays, and speculation say he hits 700,000, he hits 300,000. Is he you think he'll bankrupt boxing? Not bankrupt boxing, but set boxing back financially?
Well, I don't know what you mean by set boxing back financially. I mean, if I was involved, it would set me back financially. But you see, I'm not involved.
Right.
The zone through the Blavatnik, who's the financier behind the zone, has big, deep pockets. He's an extraordinarily wealthy man.
Right.
And he apparently doesn't feel any of these losses because, again, his other businesses throw off a tremendous amount of money. And Blavatnik, and I've met him, he's a terrific guy. Very, very able guy, very charitable, and a man who has made billions of dollars. So when you look at what somebody like that is doing, who the hell am I to say what he's doing is wrong? Makes no sense. I'm not going to say that.
Right.
He's a hell of a lot smarter than I am.
Right. Well, let me take you back because I want to put these two together. What did you mean? Because I'm looking at 2022 and I'm looking at the how ticket sales look like they're not doing so great across the board in boxing, not just one promoter. But what did you mean by when you said Al Heyman is going to ruin the sport? What did you mean by that?
I don't know what I was talking. I don't know what I was referring to at that time, what he was doing and so forth. Right now, I have absolutely no complaints. about Al Heyman and what he's doing. And I don't see him ruining anything.
Why are ticket sales down?
Because I think promoters are overpricing events. Now, I mean, it's not only just in boxing. Look at music. Look at with the dynamic pricing. Bruce Springsteen tickets are going for $5,000 a pop.
Jesus,
that's ridiculous.
Right.
That's going to kill the music business. I mean, there has to be some kind of restraint. I think dynamic pricing is okay, but there should be limits.
Right.
I mean, look at the pricing on Canelo Golovkin.
I haven't looked at it yet.
Look at it. Look at it. You've never seen prices so high.
Wow. Is Eddie Hearn ever going to make it in America? Or he's just flapping his wings and going?
Ever is a long time. But again, I think he's learned that the American market is different from the English market. And he should have learned to walk before he started running as fast as he was running. Remember when he came in, I got $1 billion, I'm going to take over, and so forth. Didn't work out.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And speaking of ticket sales, before we jump back into boxing, I think we're going to have a Yankees-Dodgers World Series, man.
Oh, maybe it'll be Yankees-Mets.
Oh, man. I want to go to a game, Bob. I'm a Yankee fan like you, so I want to. Are you a Mets fan or a Yankee fan, by the way?
Yankee.
I gotta go to a Yankee game, dude. I gotta go. Me and my grandfather stayed up all night watching the Yankees when I was a kid, man. I stayed on 147th and Lenox Avenue. I could see Yankee Stadium sign from the bedroom window.
Well, I went to college at 183rd Street in the Bronx. And so when I take the train, you always pass
the sign.
Yankees.
You're absolutely right. You get 2 seconds of the game. You get to watch 2 seconds of the game. What do you think is going to happen with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence? Can you break that? Can you take the time and break down the particulars in that fight? Because I know you're not involved.
No, that would be wrong. I have no involvement in that fight. I think it's a very good fight. I think it'll do well. And I'm not going to put my 2 cents in because that would be wrong.
Are you willing to put ESPN Plus and ESPN in the deal if it's profitable to make the fight happen for boxing fans?
No. Nobody has approached us to do that. So why would I even talk about it?
Because it seems like Stephen Espinosa's his quote was, "Fighters have to be reasonable."
I think he's right. I mean, just because a fight is a really good fight doesn't mean that promoters should underwrite everything and lose money just to get the fight on. Why? That's not good business.
Right. Do you think it will happen this year, the fight?
I have absolutely no idea.
What fight are you? Yeah. What would be? Oh gosh, I'm just gonna ask. Piracy. You mentioned the term piracy. What percentage of piracy versus paid boxing fans? Is it 50-50, 60-40? What do you think?
I don't know how to quantify it. But all I know is that any household that has a teenager or even younger than a teenager knows how to get the signal without paying for it.
No, you're absolutely right. And
so you know that, I know that. What percentage are watching it on illegal on streams? I have absolutely no idea. But again, it is cutting in to the business, so it's decimating pay-per-view. Now, years ago, when we had analog, before we had digital, everybody had these boxes on their television set.
I had one, Bob.
It was easy to jimmy them.
Yeah.
So you could get the and the pay-per-view business virtually disappeared.
Right.
Because everybody, well, again, it's not as easy now, but there's so many streams that anybody with any technical prowess can get the stream. Now, old guys like me who are not tech savvy have to pay to watch the fight.
Right. Have you ever streamed a fight, Bob?
What?
Have you ever streamed a fight, Bob?
What do you mean stream? You mean a legal stream?
It was a trick question, but I know how the lawyer Bob is going to answer that question, man.
No. You see, you're using wrong technology. It's the wrong terminology. You stream a fight like ESPN Plus is a streaming service.
Right.
Or if I watch the fight on ESPN Plus, I watch, what you're saying is, in a pay-per-view fight, have I ever used an illegal stream to watch the fight? Yes. And the answer is no. And there's no merit badges on me because I wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah, I got you, Bob. Hey, Bob, I want to tell you, man, I took your advice, man. Remember how you said I spent so much money I could have bought a mansion in Beverly Hills? Yeah. I bought a mansion in Beverly Hills, Bob.
You're a neighbor of mine. Right?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to invite you over and for some coffee or something. But man, I think that's it, man. What fights are you most looking forward to?
Well, we got a really robust program. We got the Afimo on the 13th, and then the 20th. We have Neverett in a really good fight in San Diego, and Nico Ali on that card, and I'm really excited about that because it's in the same arena so many years ago when Kenny Norton broke Ali's jaw.
Yeah.
And Nico is coming back to fight in that arena, and we'll really hit that hard. The week of the fight. And then on the 27th, we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's one of your hubs.
And the semifinal on that card is going to feature Jarrett Anderson in a really good fight. His first 10-round fight. I've always felt that Jarrett is a future heavyweight champion.
He will be. He definitely will be. And he's looking good in camp too, man. Shout out to whoever his trainer is and his dietitian. He has abs now, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
he's looking. And he's a terrific kid, an athlete. He's a real gentleman. Pleasure to deal with.
Right. My final question before we get out of here. I know you're working with Queensberry, and I'm just asking this from a boxing fan's perspective. The same deal you make with Queensberry to put on the Connellan fight. With that, because you got how many dates you have?
Oh, back up. Queensberry is not involved with Conlon.
Okay.
We signed Conlon.
Okay, got that. Okay, but you do partnerships with Queensberry on BT TV, BT whatever it is, right?
Yes.
Right.
And we also our main customer in the UK is Sky.
Right. So my question to you is, how many dates do you have to fulfill every year?
30.
So, wow, that's 30 weekends. Damn, that's a lot. So if you have 30 weekends, would you be willing to work with Al Heyman as well so we can get So now we can really start, because it seemed like he needs some more dates because Showtime doesn't have the dates. You may need more fighters because you don't have as many fighters as Al Heyman. And
I think we had more. But yeah, I have no problem working with Al on anything.
Because I think that would do well for boxing, man. If
maybe yes, maybe no. It depends on what the fight is. You couldn't, if this was a premier attraction that Al had and wanted us to put it on ESPN, we would certainly consider it. But we're not going to take Al's lower end fights.
Right.
He gives his higher end fights to Showtime. That would be wrong.
Right. Absolutely right. I was just trying to think of a way to think outside the box for the fighters and the fans, because they're fighting once a year. You guys are fighting twice a year, maybe some fighting 3 times a year. And you do need some marquee names, and maybe.
Well, maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I think we have plenty of our own, particularly with the young guys that we send out of the Olympics and so forth, who are really, following Shakur, making a big mark in boxing. Keisha will be fighting main events soon. Xander Sayers is going to be fighting main event.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. It totally makes sense, man. And man, I thank you, man, for finishing your lunch, man, and calling me back, man. Truly. Hey, Bob, do you remember this a long time ago? Do you remember you bullying me and how we started our relationship? Do you remember that, or it's a fog to you? And
no, I'm 90 years old, man.
Because I tell the story of how we started off on the wrong foot. Well, you being Bob, and you bullied and cursed me out, and I cursed back at you, and then we've been cool ever since. Do you remember that? Do you remember that incident?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Bob, man, I totally appreciate you, man, and thank you for giving.
Right, good talking.
Appreciate you, brother.
Bye.
All right, appreciate it. And there you go, Bob Arum, man, the Hall of Famer, Bob Arum, man. Thank you for giving us an hour, and we gotta get Derek in the Hall of Fame, man. We got to get Derek in the Hall of Fame. And as you guys know, he's one of my favorite guys to interview, and now he's my neighbor. So, anyways, man, Barbershop Conversations. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget Checks and Balances and 9 Wives. And here we go.
He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
I just need you to know that I see you and I'm proud of you. I need you to remember that you royal and we